Wow, was für ein Sound. Mummitroll heute Abend bei uns in Late Night zu Gast. Das war der Song Flow Away von ihrem brandneuen Album. Hier vorne steht es auch auf dem Tisch. Und jetzt freue ich mich sehr, dass wir Ilja hier sitzen haben. Er ist nämlich Frontman der Gruppe. Thank you so much for being on the show tonight.
You're welcome.
What a sound. Wow, we're really
kind
excited.
of loud, yeah.
It's really loud, but it's got to be loud. It's got to be loud, actually, listening to your music. But first of all, we all want to know, what is a Mummitroll? How came you up with that name back in the early 80s?
Our band, actually, we formed in Vladivostok, which is like totally other side of the globe on Russian Pacific coast.
That was in the early 80s back then.
Late 80s, yeah. Obviously, I have not started my elementary school yet, so so I started to do bands before I've been taught, good things in life. But being closer to China and Korea, obviously, as a kids, we were dreaming about, some distant lands, fantasies, and apparently some books about Scandinavian trolls came up. And at that time, Soviet underground scene, there was like popular names of like these prog rock bands, which they would take from fairy tales. So it's just, okay, there is a guy called Mummitroll, you probably know this Scandinavian kids series. So we basically did a moniker on that that's named Mummy is Egyptian mummies, symbol of eternal life, and troll is someone who not necessarily live here, but if you dig the tunnel, I don't know, through the globe, probably you can meet trolls in Vladivostok. So we literally became the first trolls in Vladivostok.
The first trolls over there.
The first one and only trolls in Vladivostok.
What I love is a very unique musical style, but for the people here who may not be familiar with the sound, tell us more about the music of Mummitroll.
To be honest with you, I still think the approach to writing music and performing it on stage for all those years never really changed, because I started to do the band and start to write the music from a perspective of a listener. So obviously, I didn't have enough information like these days. One click and you got it all music world in front of you in one little laptop or there was some gadget. But at that time, you would buy a record and you say, okay, this song is great, but the band doesn't look great, or maybe this song could be rearranged, or blah blah blah. Or there are some new wave bands, there are some hard rock bands, there are heavy metal bands, or like folk songs, which I really like. So I didn't really, where really, what would I really stick with for life? So I decided, okay, I have to do something on my own. So at least I would satisfy, myself, my close circuit of friends, because I didn't really thought that, this game in rock band game in real life will take us further, and it will become, literally, not only my lifestyle, like whole of my life.
Well, in the mid-90s, you were actually influenced by the Britpop sound, and you actually reformed
because
the band.
Then I moved to London, and I was lucky actually to live there through mid-90s, and I witnessed, whole rise of Britpop scene and raves and all that kind of music, which people thinking with nostalgia these days. But I guess I look. Bearing the baggage of like foundation of like Russian underground scene, which mostly been based on new like 80s new wave. So then I kind of combine it with what I saw in London, and it wasn't really like particular bands or styles. It was more about the vibe, and, how people get together. And I had lots of friends at that time in London. Some of them, became big musicians, and I was lucky to see lots of bands playing their first gigs in
that was the heyday
Camden Town,
exactly.
all this stuff. So and officially, the history of Mummitroll said that our so-called official album we actually recorded in 1996 in London. So we took it back home, to Russia when perestroika just started.
Yeah.
You know, new horizons, new opportunities everywhere. So we built kind of local music market with our first couple of albums, because everyone thought that kind of music would never get anywhere in Russia, because in Russian mentality or whatever, pop market not really ready for.
But it did.
For you know, kind of trendy. Music, but apparently it did, and there were like millions of people all over, from, I don't know, Kamchatka to St. Petersburg, who apparently appreciate our music, and I'm really thankful for them. And then we decided our international adventures, because obviously we wanted, you know, to see the world.
Absolutely.
and I think it's a great way to see the world, you know, with your own music, instead of being just on, you know, your typical holiday maker.
But this is actually the brand new album. It was available here in Germany. It came in on the market on October 9th.
Yeah, yes, and Germany is the first country apparently when it's available, because I have not seen.
You haven't even seen it.
I have not seen the physical album yet.
What I think is fascinating about that album is actually the creation. Is a very unique way how you created the album, because you were on board an ancient ship circumnavigating the globe. It sounds really exciting.
Yeah,
was it exciting for you as a band as well?
Yeah, like 3 years ago we joined the old vintage sailing ship, which is actually more than 100 years old, which was on a mission, you know, circumnavigation trip around the world, and it was. It's now serves as a training ship for the cadets from, you know, people of marine profession. But the funny fact is, this actual ship called Sedov, it's been built in Germany.
Okay.
So that's why it's still, it still could.
was it really hard on you guys being on the ship?
You know, it was a great experience, because I guess somewhere in our hearts, all of us are sailors. As a kids, we wanted to be a sailor, and then the opportunity comes up, and we spoke to the crew, like official crew of the ship, and the owners of the ship, and they said, yes, you can join the trip. I mean, for free, because they you know, they have those rights for people who really want to pay, you know, big bucks to behave themselves as like real sailors. But in our case, we didn't really been told to behave as a real sailors. You know, the crew said it would be really nice if, you know, you guys do your own thing, but, you know, at least you can entertain, you know, the crew in a different ports. And what we did, we started from St. Petersburg, and apparently we've been part of Kiel Regatta 2 years ago, and we played on a deck. So on a deck, surrounded by, you know, ships big and small, and there were people all around, and I remember it was kind of rainy day, but it was an amazing experience. And then this is how we started, and then we did the leg with them from Vladivostok, Japan, South Korea, China.
It's an incredible journey.
Hong Kong, Singapore, South Africa, all the way down to South Africa, and every port we would arrive, we wanted, you know, to do either our own gig or on a boat, or, you know, go to local clubs and play with local bands.
I know you're actually playing in Germany this week. This is really exciting for you. You're going to be performing in Cologne this week.
Yes.
What can the viewers expect when they come to see the show, when they come to see Mummitroll?
I guess, you know, people would see Mummitroll die-hard fans. Some of them, you know, based in Germany. Some of them, you know, could probably travel 1,000 miles just to see us here, and this is because this is what we did. Kind of, you know, coming closer, and our voyages and our, you know, travel experience basically influenced the band a lot, because at some point, you know, some band members you know, being on a ship, it's not like being on a tour bus.
Yeah, I bet. It's a completely different world.
You can't really run away. You know, you can't say just, oh, stop it here and I'll have, you know, some snack on the way. No, sometimes you go for, you know, days and weeks, and you have to deal, you know, with weather, with seasickness, with people around you, with food, which, you know, don't really change in every day. So on stage here in Germany, on this particular tour, you will see not only die-hard Mummitroll fans, also die-hard members of Mummitroll.
Very good.
Who overcome all the difficulties, who still, you know, together, who still enjoying, you know, play live, who still trying, you know, reinvent. We're still trying to reinvent ourselves, you know, because I guess because we still feel ourselves like those kids back in, you know, 80s and 90s who just started.
Yeah.
And this is the magic of being in a band, because there are so many discoveries ahead of you which you don't really know sometimes what to expect, and especially to play for audience who doesn't know you from the radio or television, so it's a different challenge.
They'll soon know you here, because I mean, in Russia alone, you were voted best band of the millennium by the Russian music fans. Hopefully, the same thing's going to happen here in Germany.
In this millennium, because it was last millennium.
Absolutely.
Totally.
You're going to be on stage in Cologne this week. Thank you so much, Ilya. We'll be hearing a lot more music from you in a few more minutes. Wir können Sie gleich noch mal live hier im Studio hören, nämlich Mummitroll. Aber bis dahin auch noch mal ein Video von Ihnen, damit ihr sie auch mal im Bewegtbild sehen könnt. Das ist quasi ein Bonussong vom aktuellen Album. Seit dem 9. Oktober ist es auf dem Markt. Wir sind sehr, sehr froh, dass Sie hier sind. Thank you so much.